Looking for a business phone system with no hassles? Want to save on your phone bills? Call VOIP office on 248-436-3600. That's 248-436-3600 and get your business telephone system in just one day.
Looking for fun place with friends? Stop at India Flavors for happy hour from 10 p.m. to midnight. Located at 29205 Orchard Lake Road, Farmington Hills, MI 48334.
Do you play cricket in town? India Flavors offers 10% off to all DCL players on buffet. India Flavors, best in town for Indian food.
If you own or manage a medical practice and are looking for a medical biller who can help you collect payments on time, then look no further than Bill My Claims. Bill My Claims specializes in claims processing for all insurance carriers, including workers' comp and auto. Bill My Claims can help you get paid quickly and accurately. Bill My Claims specializes in dealing with payers so you can focus on what you do best, treating your patients. It's critical for providers to focus on delivering quality care with greater patient satisfaction since it affects your payments. Team with Bill My Claims are currently helping physical therapy, internal medicine, and family practices with their revenue cycle management. Bill My Claims can help with all your medical billing needs. Call us today at 734-237-3497 or go to www.billmyclaims.com.
ప్రజాపక్షం ఇది ఎన్ఆర్ఐ గొంతు ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ రాజకీయాలపై ఓ రాజకీయ విశ్లేషణ డిసిఎల్ రేడియోలో.
ఈ కార్యక్రమాన్ని మీరు డిసిఎల్ రేడియో అనే యాప్ ని డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకుని వినవచ్చు. మీ అభిప్రాయాన్ని మాతో పంచుకోవాలనుకుంటే 248-264-3930 కాల్ చేయండి. 248-264-3930. Thank you.
What makes a face beautiful? A beautiful smile, of course. Dr. Sirisha Smile Centers. Call 248-813-7700. That's 248-813-7700. Conveniently located in Troy and Farmington Hills. Schedule as per your convenience and timing. Come to Dr. Sirisha Smile Centers. We'll put a smile on your face.
Good evening. This is Biju Zachariah on behalf of Jagan and the DCL Talk Show. I'd like to welcome all our listeners who are listening from all across the world to this talk show. On today's talk show, we are going to cover a number of points, but mainly our main discussion is going to be about the just concluded US Open and the Mishka team, which went and represented the state of Michigan in the US Open. We have three of the star players who played in that game, namely Tamim Moni, Raj Patel, and Rahul, all joining us. And we will be going through an interview process with them. I'll briefly outline what is going to be the broad outline which we are going to be following. I've broken it down into 7 sections. The first section is an introduction of the 3 players so that everybody out there who's listening gets to know what these players are, who these players are, and what they do, and which team on DCL they play for. And you get to hear from my opinion of those 3 players. After that, we'll have a team selection process where I have already asked Rahul to guide us through so that the audience can listen as to how the Mishka team was chosen, what went into the process, how did they get there, and things along those lines. The third section is going to be, we're going to cover the 3 games. The Mishka team played 3 games, 3 round-robin games, games 1, 2, and 3. We'll focus mainly on game number 1, and then we'll get to interview all 3 of them and try to see their points as well as the highlights of those games. After that is section 4, and that's where we'll welcome audience to call in and ask questions. I also know that Jagan has already got a number of questions from the audience beforehand, so we'll invite Jagan to come in and join in and ask some audience questions which will be posed to this elite panel. Section 5 is basically we'll have a question which I'll ask with regards to their unforgettable moments. And then Section 6 would be a last word from the three players. And then finally, I'll close it out with the last word from the host. So let's just get into the introduction in Section 1. First off, I have Raj Patel. For those of you who do not know Raj Patel, almost everyone knows Raj Patel. He plays for the Strikers team. So if you're a Strikers teammate of Raj Patel, much to be proud of. I mean, an absolutely fabulous event for Raj Patel in US Open. He is a fantastic player in DCL. He was the MVP of DCL last year. He's an outstanding all-rounder. He opens the batting and opens the bowling in DCL for Strikers. And again, I'm covering it from a DCL angle mainly because this is a DCL audience. So we are looking at which team they play for in DCL. If you ask me what is the highlight of Raj Patel, if you ask me personally, I played with him recently in the FCC Cup, and what I like about Raj Patel is he takes no pressure. He goes opening batting, and one of the best things I like about it is right from ball one, he puts the pressure on the opposition. The bowler is always under pressure, and that's what I like about Raj is that, any ball which is bad just disappears. As I said again, fantastic player, any captain's dream player, fantastic teammate, fantastic fielder, all-round a fabulous player, and he had a fabulous US Open. The second player which I wanted to introduce to you today is Tamim Moni, and he plays in DCL for Royal Challengers. Those of you who have seen many RC games know that RC has some of the best talent available in Michigan playing under their banner. Oni is, if you ask me, a guy I love to see every single time. He's one of the best all-rounders in Michigan. Just like Raj Patel, right from ball one, he is in attack mode. And every time I see Oni on my team and he's yet to bat, I always rest easy knowing that, the game is never out of hand. With regards to bowling, he's probably one of the fastest bowlers I've seen in DCL. He has got outstanding quickness and pace, but his pet name is Attitude Killer, and this guy kills anybody's attitude. If you have an attitude on the field, this guy can destroy your attitude in no time. He is an outstanding fielder. He's an outstanding team player. And like Raj, right from ball one, he looks to put the pressure on the opposition. So once again, both those guys have played with me, and I've had the opportunity to play with both of them. They are fabulous players. And the final player we have on the panel is Rahul Ramanujam. He plays for GLCC in DCL. He is one of the best team players that I have seen out there. If you ask me, GLCC generally has some very, very good team players. If you're not a team player, GLCC generally would not even bother taking you in their team. They have a very clear mantra. You have to be a team player, and together everybody achieves more. That's their mantra. And he is a fantastic example of that mantra. And he is one of the best fielders I've seen. And in fact, if you want to know what I say when Glad's players go out to bat and Rahul is fielding, I always tell them, if the ball is anywhere close to Rahul, let's forget about even taking a single. There's no need to take a chance. If you ask me in boxing, there is pound for pound who is the best boxing champion, and somebody might say Floyd Mayweather is the best champion pound for pound. They're saying is that, if you take it on a pound per pound basis, this guy is really good. And if you ask me, Rahul Ramanujam is probably one of the best pound for pound players because he's a wiry, thin guy, but every pound of him can play outstanding cricket. And you'll see that as we cover match one, you'll find that this guy comes at a super critical time and takes that team to victory. So on behalf of DCL Radio, I want to welcome Raj, Oni, and Rahul to the show. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you, Vijay.
Now I want to go into section 2, which is I'm going to address this question specifically to Rahul, and somebody might wonder why I asked Rahul to answer that question. That's because I had given Rahul the responsibility of talking to Ephraim Bruno, who was the team manager for the team, to find out what is how did Mishka arrive at this team? And I'm sure many people would like to know the answer. I myself would like to know the answer as to, how did they arrive at the team? How did they get from Michigan to there? What are the things which they found along the way? And so for these things, I'm going to basically turn over the question. And my first question is to Rahul. Rahul, take the audience through this procedure as to how did Mishka come about selecting the team? What did they look for in a player other than just availability? And how did they balance the team out? What went into that process? How did they decide the playing 11? And also, how did you get there? What are the challenges which you faced there? What about your stay there? Just give a brief summary of the entire thing, so that way everybody knows exactly, what happened and what went into the process and how did you get there. And once you went there, then we get into match one, which you're
right. Yeah, sure. Thanks, Vijay. And good evening, one and all, to all the guys who are listening. Rahul here. To start off, everything started off when we decided to put up a team for the Diversity Cup, which is happening for years now in Michigan, where the format is you have country-wise, where you have all the countries come together to participate, like India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, USA, Canada, and it's usually been based on a country-based thing. But this year, the chairman of Mishka, Mr. Shahid Ahmed, he, along with Ephraim Bruno, the manager, and chief selector, Mr. Amir Afzaluddin, who also happens to be one of the ICC selectors for USA right now. They all put together, they all had a thought that why not put up a Mishka team this year to represent Michigan, because it's been always happening here for years now, and we've never had a team where we could represent ourselves here. And why not give an opportunity for the talent here to probably stage their the talents on a big stage. So that's when it all started. Probably I would say June, July this year, and we finally managed to put up a team for Mishka. And since the chief selector Amir Afzaluddin did not have enough time to look at all the players personally, it was basically on stats that he actually came shortlisted like 30 people based on their stats, and all those guys were asked to attend the trials for the Diversity Cup, and most of them attended the the selection process. It was a couple of days. I think it was 3 days actually, and there was a practice game as well, which happened. And they finally decided a team of 15, along with 3 people standby. So a big team of 18 guys were selected to represent Mishka. And as we all know, Mishka team did really good, made it to the finals. Though they lost it to the finals, it was a tremendous effort to make it all the way in their very first year among the very big names in the USA. Many of them being first-class cricketers and ex-international cricketers as well. So that itself was an achievement for us to speak of. And so we just did not want to leave it right there. And next big thing that happens in the Midwest region is the Unity Cup in Chicago. So it was the same thing all over again. So guys who did not get chance in the Diversity Cup, they were asked to come into trials again. Practice sessions were mandatory, and preparations were going on quite well for the Unity Cup. But just a week before it was supposed to happen, the tournament was actually called off because of the Houston floods. And so we actually, none of the teams actually got an opportunity to participate there. And so that was it for the tournaments which happened here in the Midwest region. But next big thing was the US Open, probably the biggest tournament in the USA, and it's been happening for years as well now. And there was never a opportunity for a Michigan team to again go out and try to play among the big names again. But thankfully we had the opportunity to put up a team. But again, it was again like a 16. I think it was just 16 teams which could actually participate there. And like we know, it's teams actually come from all over the world. Even Afghanistan team, the whole team actually wants to participate in this because the prize money is quite high as well, and it's the biggest tournament here. So thankfully, after weeks and weeks of following up every week with the committee there, our manager Efrem Bruno did a great job to finally manage to get us a spot in the US Open. That's an achievement for itself. So we finally managed to put up a team. So get a slot. But the next big thing was to get your best players in there to play the tournament. So again, it was the same procedure all over again. We had trials, practice sessions were mandatory. Composition of the team was kept in mind. Previous performances, the punctuality and availability of players for the practice sessions, and the tournament for itself. It was a 5-day tournament, so all the players had to be completely available for the tournament. So that actually did filter out many of the very good talents in Michigan, but that's something we had to deal with and try to go with whatever the talent pool we had for the US Open. So mainly, like coming to the selection process, like Vijay mentioned, it was just not the availability of the players. Amir Afzaluddin, the coach, he was, like I mentioned, he's the ICC selector for the USA team right now. So he's a no mercy guy. He needs a young and energetic team, a fit team. Fitness was one of his top priorities. Talent came next to him. It was just fitness that he was mainly concentrated upon. So, and next came the talent, the ability of the players to go out and perform on the big stage with all the big names, and then the punctuality or the availability of players for the practice sessions. So, yeah, and that's how we formed a team, and we finally managed to fly down there and perform the way we did.
Okay, and I think just for I'm sure. Players and other audience would be interested in knowing if Mishka paid for all the expenses, or did the players themselves have to fork any money out of their pockets?
Mishka did cover most of the expenses. I would say at least like 80% of the expenses, and it's a very big tournament, and the entry fee itself was quite high, and Mishka did not want their players to bear that upon themselves. So Mishka did all their got all their finances together and managed to get us an entry there. They paid all the entry fee for the tournament. They also took care of our lodging there. None of the hotel expenses or something was borne with. It was just the guys who most of the guys who actually have a full-time job here. We just had to book our tickets well in advance. That's the only thing that probably went out of our pocket. Apart from that, everything else was taken care by Mishka.
Oh, that's absolutely wonderful to know, and I would expect nothing less from a good organization like Mishka to do over and above everything which is expected of them. So thank you for the details, Rahul. Appreciate all the information which you gave. I shall go to the next section, which is to cover the games themselves. We'll start with match 1. And if you ask me, match 1 was the highlight match of the entire tournament. I mean, that was a fabulous cracker. They say that dead men, that's a famous saying, dead men tell no tales and certainly give no interviews to DCL radio. I guarantee you, I mean, the very fact that you guys are sitting here, match number 1 had a lot to do with it. The fact that you're telling a tale is because there is a tale worthy to be told. And when I looked at that California Bears talent pool, when I was just looking at it, almost every one of them, right down from number 1 to number 11, almost all of them have played international cricket. Several of them have played Test cricket and one-day internationals. You had Evan Lewis, Lendl Simmons. There's nothing to introduce about those guys. Those guys have all played at the highest levels and rubbed shoulders with the elite of the elite in the cricket world. And then you had guys like Damien Ebanks. You had guys like William Perkins. Every one of those guys. And then you had Sunil Narayan, who is, if those who follow IPL know that he was the man of the tournament just a year ago, and he had a fabulous IPL season. He has been playing very well for IPL, and he was considered a man who is pretty unhittable. And as we go through the tournament and this game, we'll find out that, you know what, he ran into a buzzsaw and he got taken apart to the cleaners. If you ask me, Raj and I played on the same team against Oni's team in the FCC Cup finals. And one of the things which we did to motivate our team was, you know, we were going against an elite team which had a lot of international players playing for Majid Bhai's team. And one of the things which I challenged my team was, hey, Raj and everybody else, you have an opportunity to make history. You know, would you like to play with a superstar, or, you know, go against a superstar and beat the superstar at his game? And our guys took it as a challenge, but we did not succeed in beating them. But that itself is an option, whether to play with or play against. And here the Mishka team, if you ask me, on paper, was totally outclassed in terms of talent or in terms of name recognition, because you had who is who in this team. And Cal Bears were supposed to be one of the teams which was tipped to win the entire US Open and take the top prize of $50,000. But as we go through this game, we find that, you know, things turned out totally different. I'm going to pick up this game specifically in the 16th over. I want to just lay the situation that Cal Bears basically were put into bat by Mishka. Mishka won the toss and asked Cal Bears to bat, and Cal Bears promptly scored 223 for 9, which was a fabulous outing. Mishka was on top for most of that game. I remember following that game closely with many of our DCL folks, and we were texting back and forth in WhatsApp and things like that, until Sunil Narayan came to the crease. It looked like Mishka had this game in hand, and then blitzkrieg happened. Sunil Narayan scored 81 in 35 balls, and the partner with him, Saurabh, scored 57 in 33 balls, and the next thing you know, the score was 223. And at that point, I remember, you know, a lot of guys lost hope. I mean, I know that within the Glad's WhatsApp group, all of us were cheering the Mishka team, and yet there were many people who had lost hope. And I want to pick up specifically in the 16th over for a lack of time, because at the end of 15 overs, basically, you know, the situation looked pretty much out of hand, because Mishka had 146 for 6. They had a very good run rate of 9.73. Unfortunately, the asking rate was 15.6. And this is where our heroes come into play. And all three on the panel today played significant parts to make sure that they came out on top. We started with Oni, and Oni started off in the 16th over. And you'll see that in the 16th over, with an asking rate of 15.6, these guys, Oni and Raj Patel, scored 23 runs in that 16th over. And that's the starting of the fireworks. Out of that 23 runs, 17 came off the bat of Oni and 6 from Raj. And that was just the starting. And from there, you had the man of the tournament in IPL come, and Sunil Narayan himself having 2 overs to bowl. And at this point, almost everybody, I can only talk from a from people who corresponded with me on WhatsApp, they all felt that the game was out of hand. At the start of the 16th over, most people thought the game was out of hand. Most people who I was talking to, if I had to put it in the form of a idiom, it would be like they were so pessimistic that you would think that an elephant doing a pole vaulting contest had a chance to clear 6 meters, better chance than the Mishka team winning this game. But I knew one thing: as long as Oni and Raj were there, I had played enough cricket with these two guys that the game is still not out of hand. And the 16th over, I was following it ball by ball. And I remember 16th over, 23 runs came. And I said, well, you know what? These guys have got their teeth into it. Now, you know what? Still a long way away, but still something is possible. I'm going to ask you, Oni, take us through that phase where you and Raj were batting. This is the 16th over, and this is where you changed the game entirely on its head. The asking rate is, totally out of the hand. You have Sunil Narayan yet to bowl 2 more overs, and he comes out actually and bowls the 17th over and the 19th over. But just take us through that and take the audience through that game, and tell us what you two guys are discussing out there in the middle. Tell us what we do not know, other than the stats which we know. Tell us what we do not know. What is going through your minds? How did you tackle this? How did you go about overhauling this target? Oni, over to you.
Okay. First of all, thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala for everything, for the respect and all the gratitude in this match. And actually, in that situation, if I go through me, then I would say that actually I didn't feel any pressure on this match. I just focus on the ball and discuss with Beard that we have to just go, and quick run. That would be that was our main plan, and running between the wicket was our main thing. Other than almost there was almost 50-60 runs, just 4 or 5 overs. So you have to go through rapidly, otherwise you can't get that sort of amount. So that was in my mind actually, and we discussed about that things. Then we don't gonna talk much. We just have to go as a flow. That was our actually the discussion on that time.
Okay, and cover us this 23 runs which you scored right there in that 16th over. I mean, how did you feel at that point? I mean, did you feel at that point that you guys had a realistic chance, or did you think that this game, the asking rate is a little too high and it's beyond our reach? I mean, what is that kind of level which, and how did you find the bowling also? I mean, obviously you had to hit some absolutely fast.
Yeah, the bowler was really they were too quick actually. But as I said that we have a pretty good players, and we have confidence because of we are together and we want to go through together. That's why we feel like it should be. I mean, it would be happen, but we have to overcome this situation anyhow, and we had that confidence. That was the main thing for the situation, for overcome the hard time actually.
Have you ever had such similar situations where you have faced that kind of a daunting opposition that you could draw back on the experience and say, you know what, I did this so much long back against this kind of quality opposition, and so I have that confidence that I can take with it in this game? Or is this brand new?
Yeah, I did. But you know what? When I playing cricket, always I try to go with fearless and tensionless, stressless actually. That's boost me very much, and on that way I tried my best to do well.
Okay, thank you, Oni. I'll now go to the man of the match for this game. Man of the match for this game was our own Raj Patel, and I was so happy to see how Raj batted in that game. I know Parthiv was going crazy in the DCL groups because he was so proud that his striker's teammate was doing such a magical thing. I was just plain happy that, a guy I played with and I know very well and have grown to respect kind of a thing was a fellow DCL player was having such a fabulous outing. So I actually, Raj, I don't even know where to start. Brother, I would ask a simple question. Who in the world are you? I mean, are you crazy? This is Sunil Narayan we are talking about. This is, within the Glads group, there were guys who said, Sunil Narayan is going to come and, he's going to choke up everything. And, the percentages probably said that, Sunil Narayan has all these scalps and everything. But here he comes and bowls to you. And what I found was that, you hit 6 sixes in that game and Sunil Narayan gave up 4 sixes. And this is a guy who has in international cricket in some instances bowled more overs and given less number of runs kind of a thing. And Sunil Narayan actually in the 6 balls that he bowled to Raj Patel specifically got taken to the cleaners. When I say taken to the cleaners, 27 runs came in that 6 balls which he bowled to Raj Patel. And that changed the entire scenario. It changed the game on its head. Here is what I have seen. I saw Sachin Tendulkar bat long time ago. And I was seeing it on TV. And there was a ball, the bowler was bowling really good. And then, Tendulkar was dominating him. And, it was to this extent that at one stage, he walked about 7 or 8 stumps outside the off stump and took a perfectly beautiful ball and, perfect on drive, straight to the boundary, all along the ground. I saw that shot and said, wow, simple genius. Now, the only thing I couldn't figure out was how in the world did Tendulkar know that ball is going to pitch exactly there and that's exactly what he's going to do and the bowler is going to do this. He clearly knew even before the ball was bowled that is exactly where the ball is going to land and this is exactly where I'm going to be and this is what the shot which is going to be executed. He executed that shot. I don't know if you guys know about Wayne Gretzky, but Wayne Gretzky is not the biggest and the strongest man. But he holds pretty much every ice hockey world record. And what they say about Wayne Gretzky is before the puck reaches a certain position, he knows where the puck is going to be, so much so that he has already moved in that direction. And when he reaches that spot, the puck reaches that spot exactly at the same time. And that's what made him such a great goal scorer and probably the greatest hockey player ever to live. My question to you, Raj, would be, what goes through your mind? Because clearly I do not understand the level of cricket or have ever played the level of cricket which you play. But most of the people who are listening to this show are probably in the same shoes as I am. What is Raj Patel thinking right there in the middle? Do you know what is going to happen and that allows you to get a significant advantage even when the bowler is somebody as accomplished as Sunil Narayan? How did you go about executing that and explain to us what goes through your mind? How do you know what a bowler is going to do? And clearly you have some inside knowledge which none of us mere mortals have it. So over to you, Raj.
Yeah, so it was a pretty awesome day for us. And, everyone fought a long way. Even in 16th over, right, we are going at the rate of 9. So it is a fantastic team effort. The 23 over 16th over means we scored 23, right? And very first ball I'm facing to that pace bowler and I'm hitting out of the path, and that gave me a clear boost that we can go through this match. And then from outside they were cheering that only 7 sixes or 8 sixes required. So our mathematical calculation was very simple. If we get those sixes, then we could have win this match. So that was clear in my mind. And so very first ball, when I faced Sunil Narayan, he bowled outside the Ostrom and it was cutting out. So the only way to clear him was, to move aside clearing my leg and moving towards the off stump and try to hit him through the line. So then that worked for me. Sometimes it comes off and sometimes it doesn't. And on that day, it came off. And so first ball he bowled, it was too straight, and then I went over his head. And then very next ball, I thought he might change and he might bowl. He'll try to be very quick and he might bowl short. So that was at that particular ball, I was ready to hit him for that ball, and he exactly did the same thing. And I manipulated that shot in my mind before, executing that shot. So that gave me an extra second. That gave me an extra second, and that's why that ball right over the park. And it was a great achievement for our team. But before that match, when we were sitting in the huddle, and Nikhil, my captain, and Puneet and our guys were discussing there are those guys. But in the end, we were playing with humans. They will also make errors in pressure. So we were very aggressive, and we were thinking that yes, we are playing with humans and we can win this match. And we have nothing to lose. We just have to prove nobody. And if you get a chance to express yourself to these guys, you can be a good name and you can be a good inspiration to other people. And the support from Michigan, our DCL, we play against each other, but the support that we get from you guys, people watching live from India, that support, and so everything was running that into the mind, and we wanted to win that match badly because before that day, we were supposed to play that team on the previous day. And the committee and all those, there was issues, and we didn't get a match, and all the frustration was, it was piling up, and we wanted to, get rid of this, and we wanted to win this match badly. They never expected us to win this match. So
no, I don't think they expected you to win the match. I don't think almost anybody in their right mind expects you to win this match. And, that shocker probably was the biggest shocker in this thing. And I mean, when I was looking through the scorecard and I was, going through the game, I'm telling you, Raj, I was cheering you guys so much that I was biting my fingernails. But by the time that game got over, there was no more nails to be bitten off, kind of a thing. That is the amount of tension which who's not even playing the game, just following the scorecard live, and like me, thousands of other guys were following the scorecard live, and we were all just cheering. And all I can say is, you pointed out something which obviously lesser players like me or anybody else has no clue about, which is that before the bowler is bowling itself, you have already thought out what he is going to bowl, and that is giving you that extra 1 or 2 seconds. And that is the difference between a great player and just an average player. I mean, where you are manipulating this thing because what you are expecting is exactly which is being bowled. I mean, just for the benefit of the audience, 16.4, Sunil Narayan to Raj Patel, 6 runs. 16.5, another 6. And 16.6, 2 runs. Basically, you had 18 runs coming right. 18 runs came in that match, out of which 14 runs came in those 3 balls alone. And now you go into the 19th over, and clearly they have a lot of confidence. And Sunil Narayan again comes to bowl, and again let's look at the first 3 balls. The 19th over, the very first ball, Sunil Narayan bowls to you, 6 runs. Second ball, he bowls to you, 6 runs. And third ball, you take a single, and again you take 13 runs right in those 3 balls. And if you ask me, that changed the entire outcome of the game. And, by the time you got to the 20th over and Rahul joined you in the final over, you pretty much needed 10, 12 runs probably, and still a lot of work to be done. But still, the thing has been that most of the work had been done, kind of a thing. And I personally thought it was one of the best matches, which while I did not have the benefit of seeing it, but just watching it, seeing the scorecard and hitting the refresh button every second or so was simply amazing, kind of a thing. So So I just want to say, fabulous effort. Clearly, you're in a class with this thing. You richly deserve the Man of the Match award. Again, to those who did not follow, 11 runs came in the 18th over, and then finally the 19th over is where Raj took him to the cleaners. It was a total massacre. It was a complete annihilation which took place there. Rahul, now I'm going to go to you, and I do not know if you know the origin of who bells the cat. Have you heard of that statement, who bells the cat?
No.
Okay. Let me give you the story on that, all right? There is a bunch of mice, all right? And they are being terrorized. And they are being terrorized by a cat which is eating their brethren left, right, and center. Mice are disappearing faster than you can say the word disappear. And so the mice all get together and they have a town hall meeting. And they said, you know what, we need to come up with a plan as to what to do about this arrogant cat which is eating all our brothers. So they went around, each person had some suggestion, none of the suggestions was workable. Finally, one young mouse got up and said, you know what, I have a very good idea, I have a brilliant idea. And they said, well, what is the idea? Let's hear it. And they said, well, the idea is that we need to take a bell, tie a bell, put a buckle of bells with bells around it and tie it around the cat's neck. And then anytime the cat is anywhere walking around, you hear the sound. We all know the sound. We disappear into our rat holes. That's the end of it. None of us will ever have to die again. Everybody said, fantastic idea. And then finally, one old mouse said, okay, I have a question though. Who's going to bell the cat? Now that's when everybody starts, walking back, because who is going to be brave enough to go and, put that belt around the cat's neck? That's where that statement comes, who's going to bell the cat? I'm sure you're walking into the 20th over. This is like a total oven of a game. You have a game which is totally on fire. You have two guys, Raj and Oni, who have done all the damage so far. And Raj is still there. Oni is departed. You come to the crease. You're in the last over. You still have a whole lot of runs to make. And you're a fresh man to the game. Sure, whether it is the fantastic stat with Sam game or Shaker with his brilliant 50, they did their job. But still, you walk in there, I am sure you had butterflies in your stomach, because you know what? If you don't score, everybody is going to say, Rahul messed it up. Rahul did not deliver. He had a chance. We did all the hard work, but Rahul couldn't get the job done. And by the time the last 3 balls come in to play, 9 runs are needed, Rahul. And I just wanted to set the stage because the audience doesn't know this. 9 runs required, 3 balls to go. And this is where there is no do-overs. You're at the crease. Raj is there on the opposite end. He can't help you out any further because this has come to a stage where both batsmen have to deliver. It's not like one batsman can stand back and push singles around and let the other person who is the senior partner take over. Now you're at a do-or-die stage. You have 9 runs to deliver with 3 balls, and here comes this thing. You have everything to lose. It's so much pressure. I can understand the situation. I mean, I remembered watching this score live update, and I'm thinking, well, only Raj was on the other strike. And I secretly wished that Raj was on strike because I felt that was a easier thing to do for Raj than for somebody who has just walked in. No offense to your talent, but the fact that you just walked in just makes it so much more difficult for you. And that's when, I felt, and I looked at the scorecard, you hit that 6, you hit a double, and the next thing, in 2 balls, you finished the entire game. And that's when I said, man, this guy has ice cold water running through his veins. I want you to take the audience through that last 3 balls. What exactly is going on? What did you guys discuss out there? Because at this point, it's a do or die situation, How did you guys handle this, and what made you finally get the job done? 224 for 9 with 1 ball to spare. That is what I call a cracker of a game. Take us through that last over, Rahul.
Right. Like you mentioned, yeah, it was a lot of hard work in the last 18, like last 19 overs. Captain Nikhil he gave us a great start. Shakir, Raj and Dhoni, all of them played like crucial knocks. And yes, I had to get in at the crucial stage. Like I think we required like 11 or 12 in the last overs. And for all I knew, I knew there was pressure on me, but I knew there was a Raj at the other end too. So yeah, so all I had to do was probably get him back on strike, because that's what you need to do when you have a set batsman there. So that's what I was just thinking, just to get Raj back on strike. So and like most of you know, I'm not a big hitter either, so I wouldn't want to take that upon myself and try to mess it up for my team. So I just wanted to play a little clever and try to get the set batsman on strike. So that's what we spoke also when I went into bat. And the bowler we faced, he was pretty pacey. He was a West Indian fast bowler, and he had bowled like a couple of good. I mean, to start off, he did bowl very good overs, and he was quite nippy, quite pacey and bouncy as well. So, but the good thing for us was it was a shortish ground, a smallish ground. So all I had to do was try to get the bat on ball, because for someone who's getting in at that moment, just to get the bat on ball is a big thing. So that's all I wanted to do for the first couple of balls, and luckily I got a double in the first ball. So and the next ball, and you've all seen me. So for guys who haven't seen me, I'm a pretty thin guy, and you wouldn't expect the opposition. Like once you see a batsman coming that way, you all have your infield close by, and so they did have their fielders close by, and did not expect me to do anything flashy, just to probably get the batsman back on strike. So that's where it all started. Then he took the second ball. He tried to bounce me out, and my reflexes weren't as quick as I thought it would be. I missed the ball. The ball just hit my chest, and we tried to scramble a leg. A bite actually hit my bat and then the chest. So it was still a run. So Raj was back on strike, and I was asking Raj, like, if at all you miss it, do you want me to run a by, or do you still want to hold strike and try to clear it? Let's just run for everything. You never know what happens. And that's probably was like a turning point, probably in the game's point of view. Then he bowled a really good fast Yorker to Raj, which he missed, and we tried to get a leg by there. I was back on strike again, and we required, I guess, like 7 of 3 balls, the last 3 balls. And for all I knew, he was gonna try to bounce me again, because I missed the very first ball, and I'm sure he was thinking that he would surely do that again, and he would bowl a bouncer to me, and that's what was going on in my mind. So I was quite ready for it. I was up for it, and this time I wanted to make sure I wouldn't miss it. And that's exactly what he did. He bowled a really good bouncer again on me. So all I did was try to hit it middle. It was a smallish ground, so I didn't try to hit it too hard or try to like get a full swing of a bat. It was, thankfully for me, it just came out right well. The timing was good, and the ball just went in front of the square, over the deep square leg fielder, and that was game, set, and match probably. And he bowled a wide next ball. So we were through, and so it was one of probably the most memorable games of all our lives that we'll probably cherish forever.
Oh, absolutely. I agree that it's probably one of the most memorable things, because I still remember that day like yesterday, because I remember from the 16th over, biting nails kind of a thing. And, Raj took Sunil in the 17th over, and when 19th over came on, I was thinking, if you live by the sword of tempting fate against a quality batsman like Raj, then don't blame yourself when you die by that same sword. And that's exactly what happened. The 19th over, basically, Raj hit that 2 sixes and a double, and scored that 14 runs in that 3 balls of Sunil Narayan. changed the game by the time it came to the last over. I mean, it was a fantastic effort, I thought. I mean, it just changed the game completely, kind of a thing. Again, I thought from what you said, there was, and again, I just wanted to let the audience know that there are two callers on. We'll get to you in a moment, but I wanted to cover this. But I thought that confidence Raj showed in you, even though you were new to the crease, where he said, you know, if I miss the ball, somebody else would have said, you know what, no, don't run. I'm going to stay at strike. I am the senior partner. I have been hitting so many runs. He didn't do that. And he said, you know what, if I miss it or if there is a leg by, let's go for that single. And I thought that was terrific. I see that is something which I did not know, which nobody in the audience knows. I mean, and it talks a lot about Raj himself that, you know, he has that kind of confidence and is willing to back his partner up, that, you know, he's not thinking that, you know what, Rahul is so thin and he might not have the power to clear. But he was like, you know what, let's take every single run which comes our way. And and, you know, you get that six. I mean, it has to be a day in your life. I sure remember that day so well. But congrats, guys. I mean, it was a fabulous effort by the three of you and the entire Mishka team itself, because when they score 223 for 9, almost everybody with that kind of bowling power will say that, you know, you don't have a chance. But when you score 224 for 8 with one ball to spare, all you can say is tip your cap and say, too good. We do have two callers on the line. Can we get their identity? Or is there a way to get their identity before I'll invite them to...
Viju, this is Sai from Raptors for GD for CL. You can call me then.
Okay. Sai, I'll get to you in the section where we can get. I just wanted to cover the three matches, and then we'll have some time for the audience to ask questions. And I do believe that there is a second other caller.
Viju, this is Samish.
Hey, Samish, how are you?
Good.
Same thing which applied to those two guys. We'll get to your calls just as soon as we cover match 2 and match 3. We'll go through match 2 quickly. Rahul, this will be addressed to you. Here is my thought on this. I mean, I did not realize that this very next game started right away. If you had asked me, it's an absolutely unfair schedule, because Vince Lombardi, he's a great football coach. For those who do not follow football, probably considered one of the greatest coaches other than Belichick, I guess, said, you know, basically fatigue makes a coward of us all. Honestly, if you ask any team to play Cal Bears full 40 overs and then, you know, 20 plus 20 overs, it went down to the wire, turn around and then play the next top team. It's not even like a pushover team. It's not like team XYZ made up of a bunch of no names. No, you are having the top two teams which are expected to battle it out in the finals or semifinals, and you're asking a Mishka team to go and play those two guys back to back. Personally, I thought it was a very unfair schedule. I certainly was shocked that you guys had to go out in this thing. I'll tell you something. This is from my own DCL experience. We have great players like Arjun Ajbani or Anoop or any of those guys. Whenever they play 40 and come and then they play a DCL game for me, more often than not, we kind of, when we've gone against quality opposition, whether it is GLCC or Knockers or somebody of that category, we end up losing that game. And there is a simple reason for that, and that is, you know, fatigue. These guys, when they play 40 plus 40, 80 overs and come, they really don't have anything much. When they bowl that first over, I know that they are already spent. All their energy is gone. They don't have the same zip. They don't have the same ability. They can't chase the balls like they generally are tending to do, kind of a thing. I thought, Rahul, my question to you would have been, was there any way you could have changed it? Because if you ask me, this is one of the most unfair schedules I've ever seen, where you have to play two back-to-back high-quality opponents in the same game. I'm sure the organizers' team, which was the team which you played in the very next game, did not have to face that this thing. Can you just throw some light into as to was there any other option left for you guys, and what happened there? Because you already covered that you were supposed to play the previous day, kind of a thing.
Right. Like Raj said, we were scheduled to play the previous night, but the scheduling was not top quality for an ICC approved tournament. It could have been a lot better than the way it was. The thing, and for most of you guys who do not know our schedule, not just the schedule, but the pool we were supposed to play in. The pool was changed too. So initially we were in a pool of which had other teams, and just the night before, just the night we arrived in Florida, we just got the schedule then, and we realized that we are in a whole new pool which has the two top quality teams in them. For those of you who do not know, US Stars, the second team which we played, had the Bravo brothers, Darren Bravo and Wayne Bravo. It had Jaskaran and Malhotra, who played for Mumbai Indians. It had few other international playing names in there as well. So yeah, it was the organizers team, if I can put it that way. So yeah, it was a little tough on us, but no excuses that we lost the way we did. We could have put a lot more thought into the process while we were batting. At least be a little clever enough to probably bat the whole 20 overs and try to get to the target as close as we could, so that we could have picked up on our net run rate, but which did not happen. The second thing was it was a turf wicket, and for all we know, we haven't most of our guys, we haven't had that exposure to play on a turf wicket previously, and it was the international stadium at Florida where India and West Indies have also played a game before. So it was a big ground. It was a turf wicket, and that's not something we've been used to. We've been more used to Aston turf, which we play here, but turf was something it was a little difficult for our guys to get adjusted to. But at the end of the day, and we were tired, but like I said, no excuses, which we should have done a lot better though in our second game.
Well, I just want to let you guys know that, most of us who followed the game, we thought it was a very unfair schedule. I mean, now you're telling me that your pool itself was changed. You guys have a lot to be proud of. I mean, Oni, wanted to address this question to you. You bowled fabulous in the first match. You took out 3 of their top players, and then Vraj took out the other top guy in the form of, I believe, Evan Lewis, but you took out Lendl Simmons, William Perkins, and the Otley guy in the very first over itself, kind of a thing. Most of them played 1 or 2 balls and they were gone in the previous match. This match, you come back again. You have fabulous stats. You had outstanding stats. You and Shakar had very good stats. Tell us what it was like to bowl to the Bravo brothers and to Jaskar and Malhotra, who again put a century in that game.
Thank you, Bhai. Actually, as I said last time, I never see whoever I bowled. I always thinking my length, line, and everything, and I missed out one thing. Actually, I'm really thankful with Borno, Ephraim Borno Bhai, Amir Afazullah, and Shiba Bhai. Those guys actually made me you can do this, anything, man. Lots of encouragement and lots of what should I say? I mean, all the beliefs to me. Actually, those things boost me up for this performance. I don't know, it's a lucky performance, but I just tried my best, and I always focus on my length, and that's why I got the wicket. All these 3 hats, and in second match I got Darren Bravo's wicket, and I saw that this guy's weak actually on block hole, and I always try to do these types of ball with these 2 guys. So rather than that, that's the thing for me.
Okay, thank you, Oni. Appreciate the insight. We'll go to match number 3. And Rahul, I'm going to ask you this. Going into match number 3, you probably knew what the equation was if you wanted to qualify. Did you know it? And if you knew it, what was the equation?
Yeah, we had a team meeting, and at the end of it, we came to a conclusion that it was literally next to impossible that we could actually make it, because our net run rate was minus point something, and we had to get over 2 point something. So it was almost a giant leap. Sorry, what was it again?
It was -3, so it was pretty huge.
Yeah. It was a huge leap that we had to get into, and if at all, the only way we could have probably done it was probably bat first and get close to 300 runs on board on a T20 game and try to restrict them to as low a total as possible.
So we had to win actually for 245 runs.
Exactly. So yeah, he has the best figures there. So yeah, it was literally next to impossible, but the toss did not work in our ways either. But the way Sam was batting, if we had probably batted first, we probably could have gone close to 300. The way he was batting in the second innings, but yeah, we lost the toss. They batted first, so yeah, and like I mentioned, it was close. It was impossible to get that run rate up there, but we still tried our best. We chased the target of 120 runs in like 7 point something overs, which is again an achievement there. Sam got his fastest 50 of the tournament. Nikhil gave us a great start as well. Raj batted beautifully to finish it off again. So yeah, it was so close yet so far for us. So like I mentioned, in a little more application in our second game would probably have us qualified, and we never know, we could have probably made it to the finals as well.
Yeah, Raj, tell me about Sam. I mean, he just crushed this 119, which the Tampa guys put up 119. They scored in 20 overs, and you guys scored it in 7.4, and out of which Sam scored 69 in like 24 or 25 balls. Tell us a little bit briefly about that innings. I mean, clearly he did everything possible, but obviously the target was way out of reach, kind of a thing. So that will end the thing with regards to the game, and then we'll go to the audience questions.
Yeah. So Sam was our trump card throughout our tournament and throughout diversity. So we all know how he bats, and he had 200 under his belt going to this tournament. So I know the way he bats, and we wanted him to click against the good teams, and he started out. He gave a good start, and the way he starts, the way he demoralizes the bowler, gives the entire boost to the entire team who has to come next in the batting. That they can also go after those guys, and so that mindset, he creates in the batting on the opposite end. People who is batting with him will feel no pressure, because you don't have to worry about the run rate, and you can even nudge the balls here and there, get your time, and knock the ball around. And then once you get in, then you both can start to hit. But Sam, he clears a long way. There is no half measures when he goes, and I like his batting very much. And he was our trump card throughout the tournament, and he will be our trump card in future too. So the way he bats, I love, and I think we all have some improvements to make. Like me, Rahul, everyone, we from this tournament, and I'm sure that he'll also, learn, and he'll be more, a killer batsman. And now he is, after understanding the game and the way we are playing these oppositions.
Okay. With that, we'll go to the next section, and we have two callers on the line. Since Sai was the first caller to this thing, Sai, I'm going to let you pose your question. Please go ahead and pose your question to any one of them or all three, whichever way you prefer to choose.
Yeah, thanks, Vijay. Thank you so much. Before I pose a question, first of all, I want to congratulate all the three players, great players, and I'm very proud that on behalf of Ford Cricket League or Ford, from a DCL perspective, also I want to congratulate them. It feels proud that both the players were Ford, and currently Raj is also a Ford player. Ford Motor Company, and they play for other Mishka tournaments. I want to also congratulate for Mishka to doing all this stuff for cricket in Michigan. But Just to because I'm a person of clarity here, just want to say all the Mishka terms here. I just want to make sure the audience is aware. It's Mish-CA, so that the credit goes to the right people. I know what you mean, what you know what I'm saying. With that, again, thanks. It was great to see with you explaining a whole game, even though I was not hearing. But one thing I can remember that day was we were in the office and people were coming to me saying that, hey, like in the Dhoni dialogue, hey, Dhoni maar raha hai, that movie, like Braj maar raha hai. We will feel very proud when we hear our local guys hitting these international players. It's really great to see that players and the prosperity of cricket in Michigan. So with that question to all these players, especially Braj, is how do you see the future of Ford cricket in Michigan with these things that are good things going on and Team USA coming in and setting up the ICC and all that? And what would you, as you played here international with the international players, what would you recommend to the players who are hearing or players at in the Detroit area? What would you tell them? Since you have experienced the level of cricket that's probably most of them have not seen yet.
Mm-hmm. So we are playing, almost every tournament. Means if they are playing leather tournaments, my suggestion only would be, try to improve every game, and just don't. If there is any loose team, also don't take it, too lightly. Play as professionally you can. Work hard on your game, because international players, they're going, when you face those guys. Right now you will be facing 110, 120 clicks an hour. So, it's going to be easy for you to bat. But once you face those guys, it will be 140, 140. So you have 1 second or 2 seconds less. So the training that goes under is just to, for that marginal seconds you play for. So, whatever game you play, even your team has practice sessions, go around. Even I don't get time to go around, but you attend those sessions. If you want to be, into the good leagues and play, represent your state or be into US team in future, if you have, no visa issues or something, and try to. I mean, you see the international players, they work hard on their game every day. I know here we are engineers, we have all family plannings and all those stuff. But one day we get to the training, even if it is a fielding, try to give your 100%. So, and never negotiate, means with never compromise with your game, anything else. So that would be my suggestion. So just go for the extra inch that separates the ordinary player to the extraordinary player.
Thank you, Raj. With that, I'll turn over the question. I guess the next caller on the line is Samish. Samish, please go ahead with your question to our panel.
I actually don't have a question. I just wanted to congratulate our superstars, and I wanted to let them know that that game was probably comparable to the kind of excitement that game gave Michigan cricket was probably comparable to the first game of IPL, if you ask me.
Okay.
And these guys have made us proud. I just wanted to let them know that. And in the end, if I have to ask a question, I'll ask, where do I catch them to get their autographs now?
That's a fair question to all three. Oni, you go first. Where does he catch you to get your autograph?
If it's really needed, I mean, just remind us in your prayer. That would be good for all of us. But yeah, thanks for appreciation and everything. Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Oni. Rahul, your thoughts on the Samish question? Your skipper in DCL too.
Yeah, thanks, Amish bhai. Thanks. Those are big words. We aren't that big of players yet. But I would like to say one thing. Like when we came back to the hotel, that just reminds me of one small incident what happened there. Yeah, the very first day we landed in our hotels, we did have other teams too, which came in there. They stayed in the same hotel as we were, and none of them knew which team we were or what was even the name of our team. So, and that was the first day. And the very second day after our games, 2 games, back-to-back games, and he probably came home. Came back to the hotel, and there were other teams who were already there in the hotel lobby, and some guys who were just getting there, and those guys knew right away that we were Mishka, and they just came to us. They spoke to us, and they were like, "Who's Raj Patel? Who's the guy who scored the last ball 6? Who took those wickets?" And they were so curious to know, and just the way that they asked for us, or that the way they thought of us, that itself is a big thing and a great achievement for us. So yeah, Samish bhai, no autographs. We'll take one from you.
Thank you, Rahul. And finally, Raj, you get to answer the same question. But I'm telling you, when Rahul was telling that, people wanted to know your name and who is this, all with the hairs on my body were standing up. So, Raj, over to you.
Yeah, that means Shamish and me means we are we don't need to give any autographs, but we'll have beer. We often do. So that we can do. And I'm still, I think that I'm not as big as player everybody thinks, but it's just, for the second match, you never discussed that I was hit for a 64 run. So this game makes you humble, and it's the game that will win at the end of the day. And the way, I know that bad patch is going to come. So I try to be as humble, and, the gratitude should be as much as you can, and, enjoy whatever you are getting right now. And play hard. That's it. And I need to tell you that it was my birthday on that particular day, 26th, when I scored that run. So it was a good gift for me and from my team, the way they played to me.
Thank you, Raj. Apparently, this particular radio segment is pretty popular because we have 1 or 2 more callers who have called in. Jagan, any idea who the callers are?
I think, Viju, I think I'm fortunate enough to take his autograph any day, like tomorrow also.
So, who is the next caller online?
Viju Bhai, Thais.
Thai, please go ahead.
Hi guys, I would like to congratulate all of them on behalf of DCL, and I would like to thanks to Mishka for actually taking them to US Open and giving them an opportunity. I have a question to either Briyaj or Rahul, that some guys here, like they don't like DCL balls, like they think this affects on hard ball. Like if you play in DCL balls, that might affect on this hard leather ball playing. But I don't see any problem with Biraj. Like he was the MVP last year. This year also, every time he's performing, Oni performing, Rahul performs, and some of the other DCL players who also played in US Open, they also perform. So can you guys say if DCL balls effect on leather ball from your experience?
So it depends on player to player, right? And the way I play is I wait for the ball, so I don't hurry. And most of the player now, we played on our AstroTurf and all, so we play on the off. So they'll always go for the ball, and ball will come under the bat. For DCL, it will stop, it will do something. So if those guys are playing more DCL and going to the mat, they will try to wait for, means they'll not go to their natural instinct. So they will face an issue. And something else, I'll tell you, if I'm a bowler, if I'm going to bowl DCL ball again and again, I'll end up in 2 and 3 years maximum. So if I want to play long leather, so the way I have to maintain the body is, bowl less in DCL with that ball, because I have to put lots and lots of effort, because pitch is not going to do anything. It's not going to give me anything out of it. So that will, weaken my shoulder, and that shoulder will affect in the leather game. So I'll not give my 100% in the leather game. If they are all committed to the leather ball cricket. So those guys who are committed to leather cricket, that's the reason they'll face these challenges. It's not that they'll perform bad or there is psychological issues, but sometimes it's fitness and the way they have to see means we have to hit hard to DCL ball to clear and to score runs. In that, it's just pure timing. It's all class. So that's how more temperament in DCL. And means even there is a temperament in leather ball cricket, but the way DCL format is, we have to be more patient, and your value of your shots would be less. So those guys won't like it who are playing leather ball cricket more, and so that's fair enough. It's not just they are not giving any excuse, but I'll say that if there is a fitness, there is all psychological mindset when you go to the particular ball or game.
Thank you, Raj. And in the interest of time, I'll now go to Jagan. I believe a number of people send their questions by text to Jagan. So I'm going to let Jagan take over this segment of the show where he gets to ask you guys certain questions, and you guys can briefly answer those questions so that we have all the questions addressed, as well as we let Jagan has some best wishes for you guys from various people. So I'll let Jagan handle that portion. So Jagan, you have all the text which was sent to you, so please go ahead.
Hey, congratulations, guys, and you have done entire Michigan proud. Okay, and I have few messages from your friends. The first one is for Raj. Pardeep said congratulations to you, and he talked so great about you. I just want to read his message. What sets him apart from other cricketers in DCL or any other league is to pick the balls he can score and his shot selection. He always has that extra second, which I think makes a great batsman. In his bowling, he thinks and executes what he wants and sets his fielding based on that. And he's a captain's delight. That's from Pardeep Patel to you, Raj. Okay.
I think it's thank you for this. But, okay. We'll make him Pardeep Patel for tonight.
Yeah. What were you saying, Viju?
I said I think it is Parthiv Mehta as opposed to Parthiv Patel. But if you want to make Parthiv Mehta into Parthiv
Patel, Parthiv Mehta Patel. Okay, my bad. It's Parthiv Mehta. Okay. And the next one is from Majid Bhai to Oni. I just want to congratulate everybody, and especially Oni. And he also wants to congratulate Team Mishka and wish them well for the future. And a special congratulations to his fast bowler Oni.
Yeah, thank you, Majid Bhai and Jamal Bhai, also all the MIPL players and RC players. Thanks for all the support and everything, and just pray for me for my upcoming future and the cricket. Thank you. Thanks again.
Okay, this is for Raj and Rahul from Pradeep of GLCC. Like both you guys, and the way you commented on the show, and that should tell, your comment should tell about the quality of players and human beings you are. Okay, and these are the few messages. I have several messages like this, and Rav Ganta from Ford GT, who led Vraj in FCL as well as in Big 3, which is Corporate Cup. He also congratulated you and the other two for the wonderful show. Okay, and these are another question. This is the first one for Raj. So Raj, you said it is on your birthday, and on your birthday you had your best cricketing out. How you felt, and what was the reaction of Sunil Narayan. Did you talk to Sunil Narayan right after the match? And how he treated you? That's the question.
Yeah, so I did talk to Sunil Narayan, but Shiva asked for a photo, and he kindly said that only one pic, and that's it. Because he is also a player. If I'm losing and I'm getting hit for, and then somebody asks me for a pic, so I don't know, I would react the way he reacted. He's a very humble guy, nice human being. No player from that guy, that team, talked verbal, we had no issues with them, and it was a smooth cricketing game. And the way the birthday, it's the greatest birthday I could have the God, it was my day, I can say. And the wishes, everyone wanted me to play that knock. We talked about the the way that birthday game before that night, and they all wanted me to play well in this particular game and day. So I executed, and I'm very happy about it. And the love the people have for me, it's that shows on the it gives an extra confidence to me, and to perform the way I did. So it was the best birthday, and my father watching my match from India. My best friend, she always supports me from 2010. I remember I have never gone into the match before taking her wish. So she always thinks that it's just an optimistic, you take this. But I want to thank her. Take this opportunity and thank her that it's not always that your wish, it's my talent that wins me a match, but it's your wish that I want to prove it right, and I'll put extra effort to make that wish right, and that's it from my end, and that was the greatest day I could have ever have in my cricketing career.
Cool, wonderful, very well said. And Oni, I don't know who sent this one. Unfortunately, I could not, I didn't note his name. Whoever sent this message, okay, you're one of the fastest express bowler in DCL. If we have to give an express train name like Rawalpindi Express, what is it in Bangladesh?
I'm sorry, Jagan bhai, can you please repeat it?
Okay, like you might have heard Rawalpindi Express, right? Who's Rahul? Shoaib Akhtar. Yeah. Okay, like that. If we DCL have to give a name to you, what is the train name in Bangladesh?
What should I say?
What is the fastest train in Bangladesh?
There's a Norail Express, otherwise Silach Express.
Silach Express. Okay, from Norail
now. Express it is then.
So from now onwards we'll call what? Silach Express?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. Wonderful. So, and there's another question for you. And in a very first over you took 2 or 3 wickets, quick wickets. And see, did you happen to talk any of those players right after the game? And if that is the case, how they felt?
Actually, there was Ashar Zaidi, Ashar Zaidi, the lefty spinner and batsman.
Mm-hmm.
He talked with me, and I was quite surprised because he told me that, are you going to BPL? BPL, Bangladesh Premier League, it's just happening right now in our country. That time I was surprised and shocked, and also I feel really amazing because that types of players, told me that I'm going for BPL. Then I said, inshallah, going to next year. Hope that if it's in my luck, then inshallah. So, talked with Ashar Zaid a little bit. So, that was
good. So we hope to see you in BPL or in CPL is what I expected. Personally, I thought you and Raj could have easily, people from CPL might have noticed you guys is what I thought when I was following that match. Okay, Rahul, this question is for you. Okay, so when we watched this match and after the match, we always, people were always talking about that last ball sixer, last over sixer. Okay.
Yep.
And but we have seen you here doing a mercurial fielding efforts, and so which are normally not noticed in scorecards. Do you have any such moment in any of these three games? Did you understand the question, Rahul?
You mean something spectacular in the field, which is not noticed in the scorecard?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, nothing for me. I actually dropped the catch. So actually nothing to be proud of.
Okay.
But most of us guys, not just me, as a team, we as a team as a whole, we performed excellently on the field. Not just me, it's just that I've been looked up on fielding, but I would say all the 11 players who went onto the field were equally good fielders, catching the ball. If at all we wouldn't have played the way we would have. So it was a splendid effort. We did have some spectacular catches by our wicket keeper as well, who did an excellent job. And Shakir Bhai, we always know how good a fielder he is. So there were some brilliances from him too. Raj as well in the first game, he took a very good catch of my bowling. So nothing of me though, but team as a whole did an excellent job though.
Cool, very well said. You are an example of team player, man. Okay.
Thank you,
and one last question. With that, I'll hand over the control to Viju. The question is, after this experience, you guys have seen, all IPL players, and do you guys see either you or in the future? Any Michigan players, do they have any chance to make it to CPL or BPL, these primary leagues? I'll start with.
I don't see a reason why not. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'll start with Rahul. You can answer first.
Yeah, sorry. I don't see a reason why not, but the only thing what I would say is a drawback is we're not professional cricketers. The thing is, for most of the players who represent, like who play CPL or IPL or BPL, they're all professional cricketers and they put all their time into training every day, day in and day out. But we many of them study. They have a full-time job. Many have a family here as well. So it's very tough to dedicate time to get to that standard of training. But I don't see a reason why we cannot, if we can just try to do one thing, but to manage to juggle with 3-4 things day in and day out, it's not that quite easy. But I don't see a reason why we cannot. Captain Nikhil is a very good example there. He's a great batsman who represented us, India actually, in the Indoor World Cup. And there's Shakir Bhai, who's played Bangladesh under-19 World Cup as well. And I'm not sure, and I don't know what levels of cricket others have played, but I think we've proved a point with this tournament that we can match the class if given an opportunity. But if we can do it day in and day out, I don't see a reason why we can get into those big leagues.
Okay. Oni, one question to you. You might have seen a lot of Bangladeshi kids playing cricket in your backyard. So do you see any extraordinary talent which can make it to next level?
Yeah, actually, as Rahul Bhai said, that we are not professional and we are not, we can't do anything like that in USA because you have to maintain lots of things rather than cricket. But if you ask me for our Bengali community, then I have to say, yeah, there is couple of 4-5 players have some potentiality. They can dominate anything in future if they get a proper chance and opportunities. You know what I mean? From any communities. All is about opportunities and how much they're gonna spend their time on cricket. So if they get those chances, I think we can. Anybody can make or CPL or BPL or any other professional stuff.
Okay, Raj.
Yeah, so I think if it's a matter of choice, if a person or any cricketer wants to play CPL or BPL, we have to make a choice of how you want to achieve that goal. I think if it would have been easy, then everyone would have been doing that. And it's very hard to get into, once you are out of the professional cricketing stuff. But if you want to achieve, then you have to manage everything, and which is pretty hard in this country. Due to why we are in this country, the whole reason changes. And but still, we can make it the way the talent. These guys are so talented. I see that we have only 4 or 5 practice sessions, and we go into the match, and their very first ball they are hitting out of the park. That is a sheer talent. It's skill is there, but this is sheer talent that not everyone has. They are not that gifted, and you can just go in and just step from the word go. So that is all extra talent, but when you have to match up with that level, you have to give some time. But giving time in Mishka and, if they are playing all the tournaments like Dallas Cup, going Chicago or somewhere in California, I'm pretty sure, they'll have a good name and they'll represent good leagues. That's what I believe. So it's all the matter of choice. Once they think that they want to play this, then they'll find a way to, get there.
Okay, and these are all the questions I have, and now I'll give control back to Viju to conclude the show. Thank you, Viju.
Thank you. We are about almost 29 minutes past the hour, and I wanted to close it down in the next 5 minutes, but I wanted to go around and give the last word for all 3 players by asking one simple question. If you have an unforgettable moment from this tournament, what would that be? And I guess for Raj, I know what that moment would be. But I'll start with Rahul. What would be your unforgettable moment?
No second thoughts. My last over 6 for sure. But just the tournament as a whole. Just for the opportunity that we had a chance to go out there and play alongside the big names. That itself is something I would remember for all my lifetime and cherish it forever. That being said, I'm not sure if you have enough time to get back to me, so I would just like to thank our Mishka President Shahid Bhai, who took the initiative to make this happen, and our Chief Selector Amir Bhai, our manager Efrim Bhai, and our coordinator Shiva Bhai, without whom we couldn't have performed the way we did. They put in a lot of dedication, a lot of efforts, even trying to manage with their family and work, just to put in time every day for us without expecting any without expecting anything from our side. Is something which we need to appreciate. So I would like to thank everybody for giving us this opportunity. That's it. That's all from my side.
Oni, do you have an unforgettable moment from this tournament?
Yes, Biju Bhai. Obviously, it's Rahul Bhai's last 6. I think it should be everybody's unforgettable moments. And one other moment I have is third match, Sam Khalid Bhai's batting. That was magnificent for me. I used to love to see his batting, and that moment was also unforgettable. And one more time I have to thank to Efrim Bhai, Amir Bhai, and Shiva Bhai, and the Mishka community. They feel me to vote me for their team, and all the support and everything. That's all from my side. And thank you for Bijubai and Jaganbai and DCL Radio to get me this opportunity for talk. Thank you.
You're welcome, Oni. And Vraj, over to you, your unforgettable moment from this tournament.
So I was in the other end while, Rahul hit the six. But after that six, the punch in the air again, showing to our team that yes, we got it, was my best moment looking at it. And, that is it's not my innings, that is, it's more memorable, but it's his six and, giving the confidence to the team that yes, we did it was my unforgettable moment. And, yes, and I would also like to take an opportunity to thank everybody, Viju, Chagan, DCL committee, Efrim Bhai, Amir Bhai, Shiva, and, Amir Bhai had so much confidence and faith in me, and he loves me a lot. So it's a special thanks to him and Efrim and Shiva, and Mishka community who supported all the way along. And so that's round 6 was my unforgettable, but the punch in the air by him was the most special thing I saw.
Thank you. And that's special because most of us don't see that punch in the air. For you to tell that gives this show something special because somebody who listened to the show realizes, that punch in the air said it all, kind of a thing. I wanted at this point thank all three of you for coming on the show. It was an absolutely fabulous effort by the three of you as well as the entire team. So I thought this was a big win. This was a huge win for Mishka, for all the DCL players who played in this team. It was a huge win for the FCL players. Mainly, we are talking about Rahul and Vraj. They have much to be proud of. The DCL teams whose players played in this tournament, whether it is Strikers, RC, GLCC, and probably other teams, they all have much to pat themselves on the back on. I truly can say one thing, that on that day when I was watching this, all our differences, when we look at it from a DCL perspective, none of those things ever came into the picture. On that day, the only thing which I was interested in was that faith was swallowed up in sight. And the faith was that I had a faith that Raj can get it done, Oni can get it done, that somehow they can get it done. But seeing it get done, that's what I meant, it being swallowed up in sight. But we all cheered, various WhatsApp groups. We were all cheering for you guys. Wanted our Michigan boys to succeed, and everything else was inconsequential. The only thing was, can you guys somehow win that game? And when you guys won the game, it is like a part of us was also there on that field winning that game. So cricket was the big winner. Cricket in Michigan was the big winner. I thought it was a fantastic effort by you guys. I just wanted to say that, pleasure to watch it on the web, to watch the scorecard, to talk to you guys, to relive those moments. The pleasure was all ours. The entire audience which listened today, it was our pleasure. Finally, I wanted to thank some certain sponsors of DCL Radio, mainly Smile Center, India Flavors, BillMyClients.com, and the many other people who support Jagan with the show, the DCL talk show hosts, the regular talk show hosts who joined with him. And also, I wanted to thank the DCL committee because I know how much those guys were all cheering for you guys. And once again, we are so happy for Mishka itself that, this was such a great shot in the arm. So finally, on behalf of all cricket lovers in Michigan, I'd like to sign off the show and thank you guys for coming on the show. Thank you for making this productive time, a fabulous event for the evening, time for us all to remember our past accomplishments. And Grace, congrats. Keep up with the wonderful work. Thank you for all the callers who called in, especially Sam, Taifur, and the other people who sent all the wishes and comments to Jagan. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Viju. Thank you, Jagan.
Thank you,
thanks everyone. It was very inspirational. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye bye.